I'm a full-time working mum. I have been training, I started training at 360 about 5 years ago. I have a pretty extensive sporting background, but I had a bit of a break during my 20s, as a lot of people do, and was trying to kick back into gear after having my daughter. And a friend was raving about 360 and the results she'd received, and I restarted after her advice about 5 years ago. At the beginning of the year, I rejigged my training and actually started training at home a little bit more in preparation for my first 100k ultra, which I completed last week. Just before COVID hit, at the end of 2019, I wasn't able to train for a while. I just finished one of our challenges. I think it was an 8-week challenge. I did the athletic level and was really happy with my results. Not being able to train, I was having a bit of FOMO, listening to everyone else get their results back and hearing about their adventures, and I decided to get into ultra running. So the 100k was the 7th ultra that I've completed, and I guess I got into it mainly because it gives me an opportunity to switch off. It has given me an outlet where I can zone out after a long day, and it is something that I can incorporate easily into my day-to-day life as well, whether I'm at home with my family, whether I'm travelling for work. It's become something that's an integral part of my lifestyle. I think I've definitely developed these goals after building a foundation, a strong foundation and healthy base. Working in here in the small group format, it's enabled me to work on my strength and also my conditioning, while also using the leverage of the people around me and the coaching to push myself even further. So every time I sit down and assess my goals for the year, I look at where do I want to find my new limitation, where do I want to try and take myself. I did initially have a goal of doing one marquee event a year until I'm 40. I'm a year ahead of schedule of where I wanted to get to, so I've had to reassess what I want to do, but it's always been about having a strong foundation and trying to understand where are my limitations and not setting the bar too low, seeing how far I can push myself every time. I think it was always there. I think it was my desire to do more or do something else was always there. I think the training and the coaching at 360 helped unlock that and helped me understand the connection between mental and physical and how the two can feed into each other.
Cool.
I think I started doing things very incrementally. Again, one of the things I learnt through the training that we do here is taking steps in working towards a goal and making sure they're measurable and just not necessarily taking my time, but making sure that everything's done with a bit of backing by science and good training. One, to avoid injury so that I can keep doing what I want to do, but also so I'm not injured, so I can spend time with my family and actually enjoy that benefit of being healthier and more active as well. So so if you wanted to get into it, I'd always say little steps. I started out doing, I think my first event was an 8k at Bunyaville. I felt like I was going to die at the end of it, and now I probably felt fairly similar after finishing the 100k. So I look back on that and think, wow, that's a big difference. But I went from 8k to I think 18 to 20 and just gradually built up from there in elevation and distance. No, I think I've flipped the rewards for achieving something like this into other benefits, like going out and spending time with my family and just being present with them more and things like that. But honestly, going for a run for me, like a little trot, is a nice reward, and it helps keep me grounded on a day-to-day basis. So it sounds ridiculous, but that is how I reward myself. That's also why I took the graduated approach. I was never going to do 100 if I couldn't do 50. I was never going to do 100 if I couldn't do 65. So I've, over the previous 6 races over an ultra length, have been varying distances, varying terrains, so that I could just try and find one where my limitation was physically but also time-wise. Doing these things does require a lot of time and commitment, and so balancing that with family and work was really important. I know there's a couple of people at work that have started to run every so often. The comment that they can't say they don't have time in front of me is a bit of a joke in the office. Otherwise, my husband actually started trail running, which if you've ever met him, you would never think that's possible because of his height. Yeah, little things like that, like nothing huge, but just I think the thing that I take away is that people have started to realise that even a little bit of movement is better than nothing. I have quite a hectic work life at times, and it's given me a counterpoint to, I guess, process some work stuff and have an outlet for that. But also off the back of it, I got a promotion last year. I've found that the two sort of balance out, that having a positive and healthier lifestyle has helped me, I guess, have a better output at work, a better mindset at work and the like, and they all fit into each other. That's what I found. If I wasn't as healthy and active as I am nowadays, I don't think I would have navigated the last few years in just general life as well as I had, let alone at work. So definitely helped me out. I think trail running keeps you honest. If you're not consistent, then the trail will let you know fairly quickly. Otherwise, I'm speaking to my husband, my family, friends about what my goals are and being upfront about what I want to do and being held accountable for that. Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, I literally go through a race calendar and pick out what I want to do for the year, see if it fits in with what we've got planned personally and work-wise, and then work backwards to make sure I've got everything lined up, communicate it with my husband so he understands why I'm out running in the middle of the night and things like that. And if any individual sport is also a team sport, as you need that support crew around you. So I have to voice my goals, otherwise I'd never achieve them. Yeah, my father passed away 3 years ago, and that was a challenge, still is at times, and I think that running gave me a chance to work through some of that. I have chats with Dad when I'm out by myself in the middle of the bush. Doesn't talk back. But yeah, it's given me a chance to work through that. And as I said earlier, with work being so hectic at times, I do a run commute, so I run home from work, and just gives me a little bit longer and a different format to process some of that stuff that's happening that can be a little bit mentally challenging, and not take it home as much as I potentially would if I didn't have that outlet before I got there. Next year, Gone Nuts in Tasmania, which is 102, I think, but this time with elevation. And that way I can eat my way around Tasmania afterwards, which is the real benefit. Everything counts.
Yep.
Do something, because it all counts, like go for a walk. Everything counts.